and grow with need, and this was approved. Next business meeting is today, December 12th, 2021, and meeting was adjourned.
Do I have a motion to accept? By Ron, second. By Justin, all in favor? All right, minutes are accepted. I'm not aware of any old business that needs to be conducted, so we'll start right into the new business, and that's going to begin with a presentation by Chris on the upcoming budget. Actually, on upcoming property refinance. Yes, all right.
Okay. Everybody should have got a copy of the annual report. I think I handed out this morning when you were coming in. Okay. So it's really two parts today. So we're going to start with the first one, which is the mortgage refinance. So give you a little history where we are right now. The principal through November 22nd was $229,144. So that's what we currently owe on our current mortgage. Interest rates are 5.39 with our current payments of $1,929 a month. This will balloon in 5 years. We've been in this loan for 5 years, which means at the end of the next 5 years, we'll have to come up with about $165,000 and refinance. So that's really where we are currently. I've been talking with the elders about some options where we would like to present to you. Before I do, though, I just want to kind of give you a quick note here. Through calendar year 2021, just for this year, we have applied $12,000 towards the principal for this year only, and about $11,800 have been applied to interest. So each month, every payment we make, half goes towards the principal, the half goes towards interest. As each year goes by, we'll put more and more towards the principal each year, of course. So at this point, there are several options that we need to talk about in regards to the refinance. One, of course, is to leave in the same track we currently have, address the issue in 5 years, and then, of course, look at the interest rates that are offered at that point. That's option one, or just, like I said, stay on where we are going now. The second option, after reaching out to First National Bank, which is our lender, there is a refinance where we could do 5 years and with a fixed 15-year amortization, which will balloon at the end of that 5 years, and we would be getting the interest rates about 3.5%. Now, that will be refinanced every 5 years. So after the end of that 5 years, we would refinance. The payments will be a lot lower. It'll be about $1,662 a month. A savings about $267 that we could put and reapply to our principal each month, but there's no appraisal needed. So that really is one of the options, but every time we refinance, of course, we would have to get the current rate, which I think they said plus T-bill plus 3.5%. The other option is to refinance really with a new loan with a 10-year fully amortized. What that means is if we refinance it in 10 years, the building will be ours. It would be completely paid for. The interest rate currently for fixed would be 4.25%, and we would have to go through an appraisal process, of course, with this option, which costs about $3,000 to $3,500 to do. So we would have to finance that back into our current loan. The new payments would be about $2,400 a month, which is approximately about $500 more a month than we currently are paying. Now, that would mean that in 10 years, the loan would be paid off. Now, if we go that route, of course, we would have to provide them some profit and loss statements, which we have, 2019, 20, and 21. We would need an updated membership numbers along with the giving units and cash balances from deposit accounts. So those are our three options that we would like to present to you. In the time frame when I was putting this together, I also reached out to some other banks because that was another option that we could look and see what other banks like Truist and others might be able to offer us maybe in better interest rates. However, with that option, they will not be able to provide us a loan because we are not incorporated. So in order for us to be able to go through their institution, we would have to be incorporated, and at this point we are not incorporated. So that's something that we have talked about in the past, and that we've decided to stay not incorporated. So those are the three options, John.
So at this time, we need a motion. We need the motion to be on the floor to have discussion about the motion. So what I'm looking for at this point is a motion to move forward on one of these three options. I believe that the one that we're looking for particularly would be the third option to refinance over a 10 year. Do I have a motion to that effect? Sandra? Do I have a second? Bill? All right, now we can open the floor for discussion.
So what questions do you
What
have,
question
Ron?
did you have?
Number 3. Like any finance that you do through a bank, a personal or commercial like this one, they have to do an appraisal. They have to do, come out and they do just basically a complete eval of our building, the land, and they do the assessment and all that. It's just part of the loan package. Right. Right. It's just part of the finance, things that we have to go through. Right. Right. Yeah. And those types of assessments, appraisals are very expensive because they are commercial, and it is very time consuming. If we wanted to go this way, it would be 2 or 3 months at least before we would be before they would be able to come out. It's several months because there's a wait right now going on.
All right, so the motion on the floor right now is to move forward with option number 3, but if you have questions about any of the other options, this would be an appropriate time to ask it. Yes.
And that's true, Ron. That really is true. But the risks involved with that option 2 is very high because of the fact that we have to go through the same reevaluation or refinance every 5 years. So 5 years from now, we really don't know what the economy will be like. We could be getting 8-9% interest. What it says is T plus 3.5%. It could be 9, 10, 11%. By doing that, then you're getting higher interest rates, and then your payments will be reflected that as well. It's a risk more involved with that second option than the third.
If I could add one other note, it looks more affordable because there's a lower payment, but we're actually paying down our principal slower. So it's a lower payment. It's an easier thing to budget right now, perhaps, but long term it will actually cost us significantly more money, and that's if interest rates don't go up.
And one thing great about number 3 too is the fact that in 10 years, it's completely paid for, and then that will give us an option to think about growth and development of the building and what we would like to do at that point as well. So, any other questions?
Okay, if there's no other questions, we have a motion to move forward with option number 3. We have a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, at this time, Chris is going to present the upcoming budget.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so in knowing that that has been passed, the budget has been adjusted to reflect that. So when we go through this next several pages, we'll see that adjustment. To start out on the following page, it just really gives you a very quick analysis of how we're doing compared to last year. As you can see, last November 2020, we had about a rate at $102,000 of giving, which is what I call regular receipts, excluding the love offerings and special offering. This year to date, we're at $110,000. So about $8,000 above what was budgeted for giving, doing really great in the sense. And if you see the little graph below, the 2021 is the green one, and we're at 7.7% increase over last November at the same time. So great improvement. We're in the right direction to even to move forward with this refinance. I think that's a good thing. So the next page is really just give you information where we are with the banking account with Truist, recently known as BB&T. We're, as you see, the first graph is really a steady incline. Through November 30th, we had almost $19,000 in the checking account. The next graph really just gives you really a breakdown of the three types of accounts. We have the checking, we have the building, and we have also the total accounts and how that's going. So overall, we're doing really great in keeping our account above the $10,000 threshold that we set. If you look at our checking account compared to last December 1, we have about $5,200 more in our checking account than we did last year at the same time. Next page is really our budget. And overall for our expenses this year, we have maintained our expenses compared to what was budget. We're like a little bit about $1,500 over total for expenses, but our giving's up, so that's great. So we're really, our expenses are really doing really great compared to what we're bringing into the receipts. The budget, there's several changes in the budget this year. I want to go through it. I kind of gave you the footnotes to the right of it because I think that's important to see those notes. So we're increasing our giving this year to $120,000 for the year, which is about $10,000 a month. It's about $2,300 a week is what that represents. So that's where we're basing our starting point for our receipts. With the mortgage principal and interest, you will see that it does now reflect the change once we go with this new loan. It will be about $2,400 a month compared to $1,929. So that's our first note I want you to see. The other thing is we did make the changes and I did not make it here, so I apologize. So it says Sinotech Systems. That does need to be changed because we now have the other one, but it is $72 a month is what we pay for Firefly. And the electric and all that pretty much is very consistent month after month what we projected. And the next one, the ministry one for senior pastor, we haven't given Todd really an increase over 3 or 4 years now. So I reached out to Todd several months ago and talked with him about this, and he suggested, and I think this is a really good option, that he doesn't have a retirement. So this would be a 10% of his income, which is basically the $5,900, and each quarter we would give this as into a retirement plan for him. So when he does retire, he'll have something as additional money coming in. So that's one of the changes this year, and that will be evaluated on a quarterly basis, because basically if we're not meeting budget and our checking account begins to decrease, then we would not have that money to give to him at that point. So that's one of the changes. So I want to share that with you. As we go through with the children's ministry and the finance manager positions, we're continuing the same path as we did last year. Each quarter we'll do an evaluation as we did and see if our checking account meets the threshold, and then there will be adjustments like we did before. Just to both myself and to Savannah. That's what that represents in the $3,000 here on the quarterly adjustments. But otherwise, there's no changes on salaries for either one of us. Then as we go down to let's see here. The final page here. There are some changes on that page in regards to the children's ministries, and we've added additional money into that category. And also this year we've added camp, a line item for the camp ministries, which is $2,000. So we increased children's ministry by 500 from 1,000 to 500, and we added $2,000 for the camp ministries. And I believe that is it. So overall, our total expenses for the year is rated at $128,000. And remember that top number was $120,000, so that makes it about $8,000 short if we don't, if giving doesn't increase. But that's, again, we need about $10,700 a month to meet our expenses, and we're budgeting $10,000 right now. So so that's the presentation for the new budget.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the budget? Okay, by Bill. Do we have a second? Okay, by Justin. All right, are there any questions? All right, all in favor of adopting the new budget, signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Is there any other new business? All right. Did we have a date for the next meeting? Okay, so the next meeting is going to be June the 5th. We are adjourned.